Officer Darren Wilson will not be indicted in the shooting death of 18-year-old Michael Brown.
Batteries have been thrown at police. There have been multiple reports of shots fired as well.
How sad. You know, the verdict was hard to understand.
It is a big idea, a new world order.
Special announcement, the revolution will be televised. The revolution will be televised. Today is a very, very big day. I'm here to announce my new cable network, Revolt.
Who is organizing the racial protests breaking out across America? New York City protests are being coordinated by hardcore far-left activists. The main crew seems to be This Stops Today, a group of professional agitators who use social media to organize street confrontations. The demonstrations you are seeing are not spontaneous dissent from regular folks. Rather, they are well-planned disruptions from a professional anti-establishment provocateurs. Unfortunately, the deaths of those two men are being used by the far left to foment unrest. Again, this was organized, designed to create as much chaos as possible.
November
24th, when we began blocking highways and bridges in 170 cities and confronting the police from New York to Cleveland, Denver to Detroit, Oakland to Atlanta, America as a whole has begun to reclaim its dignity.
And as he gets to that 15 feet after I fire the second round of shots, he gets to about 8 to 10 feet. And as he does that, he kind of starts to lean forward like he's going to tackle me. And 8 to 10 feet is close. I mean, if he's going to tackle me, he's going to tackle me at that point. And I looked down the barrel of my gun and I fired, and what I saw was his head, and that's where it went.
Two shots that strike Michael Brown in the chest, and they both have a downward trajectory. How do you get that with a 6'5" guy being shot by a 6-foot guy? And then you have two wounds in the head that are parallel to the ground. When you put the body on the table, they're perpendicular. The only way you can get that is that his body is continuing to fall. The scenario is that Michael Brown was shot first in the arm, then as he is beginning to fall, he is shot in the chest, and then as he continues to fall, he is shot in the head, and then he falls prone. He's 35 feet away.
He gets to about 8 to 10 feet, and as he does that, he kind of starts to lean forward like he's going to tackle me.
He's 35 feet away.
The assistant district attorney handed the grand jury an old unconstitutional law which said incorrectly that it is legal to shoot fleeing suspects simply because they are fleeing. By handing the grand jury that unconstitutional law, the assistant district attorney dramatically lowered the standard by which Darren Wilson could be judged. She was telling the grand jury with that document that Darren Wilson had the right, the legal right, to shoot and kill Michael Brown as soon as Michael Brown started running away from him.
As each new law inflames the rebellion, it ends up getting repealed. Except for one, a tax on tea. 342 crates of tea worth 10,000 British pounds are cast overboard. This wanton act of sabotage, which becomes known as the Boston Tea Party, will soon push the two sides to the brink of war.
How do we bridge the gap between white and black at this time when these kind of situations like just broke in New York with the Garner case? How do we do it? How do we get past it?
Well, you know, I think it's hard not to watch that video of him saying, I can't breathe, and not be horrified by it. But I think there's something bigger than just the individual circumstances. Obviously, the individual circumstances are important, but I think it's also important to know that some politician put a tax of $5.85 on a pack of cigarettes. So they've driven cigarettes underground by making them so expensive. But then some politician also had to direct the police to say, hey, we want you arresting people for selling a loose cigarette. And for someone to die over, breaking that law, there really is no excuse.
Talk about there would be no confusing his hands, but some have suggested, well, he could have had his hands up, but
moments ago as the Rams came out of the tunnel, Tavon Austin and Kenny Britt acknowledged the events in Ferguson.
Today, the chant on the streets of Chicago was like thousands heard last night in New York, I can't breathe! At a protest in Minneapolis, I can't breathe! And at a die-in on the campus of Clemson University. I can't breathe!
Anarchy is, and always has been, a romance. It is clearly the best way and the only morally sensible way to run the world.
Introduce a little anarchy. Upset the established order, and everything becomes chaos.
Because the world's descending into chaos.
Because the world's descending into chaos. Because the world's descending into chaos.
If you two brothers would have just moved to the sidewalk like the officer said, we would not be here. I've been pulled over. That's why I mentioned that. I've been pulled over many times. Many times. I have a brand new vehicle. I live in a valley. It's all customized. I've been pulled over. I know how to act when I'm pulled over. That's our problem. You picking on me because I'm black. What you doing that for?
I was supposed to.
What are you nervous about?
I ain't exactly nervous. I just generally falls to pieces around polices. And it's much more worse than nervous, Captain, Your Honor.
Lieutenant and not Your Honor.
First Samuel 15:23, rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. This went from stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, here we are, stage 5, total chaos.
Total chaos.
Finally, we shall bring order out of chaos.